The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
All right, welcome to the Happy Hour edition of No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We're proudly presented by the Belly Up Sports Media Network. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of the hosts. To my right is a man who just discovered the magical powers, healing powers of cayenne pepper. Dustin, Dustin, how are you doing tonight?
Doing all right. I haven't put the cayenne in yet, but I should try it. I'll try. Hey, I added a little cinnamon last night. For those of you who don't know, I have a very important thing on Saturday, but I was starting to get sick. Last show on Tuesday, I told Ryan and everybody who was watching, very engaging comments section from last show, by the way. It was great. And I told everybody, I said, hey, I'm starting to come down with something, but I assured Ryan that I was going to be taking my zinc. That's a pro tip from the man who knows, because it has really helped out with a bunch of vitamin C and lemon and turmeric and honey and ginger. I've been going ham up in these streets, as our buddy D Willie would say, and he was on last week's show. That was such a great appearance. As you can tell, I'm full of energy. I'm ready to go tonight. But before we start, Ryan, most importantly, how are you? Because you just finished Total Football Extra.
Yes, me and Drew, who may be showing up, having a cold one, and showing up in the comments section.
Oh man,
a little later on, he's gonna. We had a great show. Talked to some Canadian Football League, and hey, an old friend of ours, Snowman, friend of the show, checking in, saying, "Hey, Snowman, checking in. We're having some cold ones tonight, there, Snowman. Hope you grab yourself one and enjoying the sports talk." But yeah, no, I've had a pretty good week. I'm enrolled in, like I said, last week I enrolled in that craft brewing certification class. So I'm getting excited for that, and had a job interview this week, which is why I trimmed up the beard.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So,
all right.
So yeah, hoping to hear some good news next week about it. But yeah, otherwise decent, pretty good week. Can't complain. Now I'm ready to do some sports talk and have a cold one myself. So yeah, so I'm ready. So before we get into the episode, just want to remind you about our social media channels. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/NoCredsREQ, Twitter, Instagram, Skisleys, TikTok @NoCredsREQ, YouTube.com/@NoCredsREQ, and the podcast side. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you podcast. I got to tell you about some of the great numbers we have, but check out the podcast on your preferred podcast platform and get yourself notified on Twitter and on YouTube. Hit the notification bell. That way you know when we go live, whether here on the OG show, on Total Football Talk Extra, because I've been streaming on there lately as well, both my personal Twitter and on the No Credentials Required YouTube page. So hit that notification bell. On the podcast side, rate, review. If you're on Spotify, leave a comment. They help the show. Give us a 5-star rating. That also helps the show. And if you're watching live or you're watching on replay on YouTube, Facebook, or tomorrow on Rumble, leave a comment. Engage with the show. Leave a comment like Snowman just did. And I know, Dustin, I know you've been kind of feeling a little off kilter lately, but I know this sound always makes me feel better when I'm feeling a little bit loose, a little bit not so funky fresh. But I'll play it for you so you feel nice and you feel so fresh and so clean for tomorrow's live stream.
Lay it on me.
I'm gonna have to smack it down. All right, since it is No Credentials Required Happy Hour, returning for a second consecutive week, because forgot to mention, as Dustin mentioned at the top of the hour, or top of the show, extra-life.org, search for Dustin Henry. Still taking in donations, folks. Look at that.
That's last year's shirt. Last year's shirt.
T-shirt. He's gonna hopefully earn himself a T-shirt for this year. But yeah, the donations have been rolling in since our last live stream. Currently, you're up to $339.
Yes.
But tomorrow you go live for hopefully 24 hours. I know you've been kind of, like I said, you're not feeling so funky fresh lately, but you're going to hope to go for 24 consecutive hours playing video games.
Yes, I will. I will modify it. I will modify it because I know I was a big talker on here, and I said 24 hours is the goal. But given the fact that I'm getting over not feeling so well, I'm probably going to go. I don't know if I'll make the 24 hours, but I'll tell you this: I'm already cooking up something in the hopper. If I don't make the 24 hours, I will do a second stream, which I've never done. And I'm going to talk to Ryan after the show, because if I do this second stream, it would be close to the holidays, and I might have a little plan for that stream regarding my wonderful co-host when he was telling me about his prowess for old NES games, and I figured, hey, at some point we might have to give that a shot here. So, and yeah, it very generous. Thank you so much for the support that you've given me on the podcast and just in life about my extra life stream. It is important to me. Tomorrow is one of my favorite days of the year. As Ryan mentioned, I will be streaming. I will be starting at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Whatever time zone you're in, stop by because I'll probably be up. You can find me at twitch.tv. Eldusto67. I will be streaming to raise money in affiliation with the Children's Miracle Network. The hospital I will be raising money for specifically is the Bernard and Millie Duker Children's Hospital at Albany Med. The money goes directly to the families who need it. It goes directly to the kids who are fighting cancer and other horrific diseases. We want to change kids' health for the better. It's one of the official hashtags of Extra Life. And swing on over, donate to my page if you can. Ryan's got the link right down below. And if you can't donate, you can help in other ways. Help spread the word. Share my posts about it, which I will be making after the show. And I will be posting, right before I go live tomorrow. And so however you can help, I'd love to have you. And, Ryan's probably going to swing by at some point. I just heard from our friends Katie and Scott. They're probably going to swing in at some point. We got, I imagine my sister, she's busy tomorrow. She's got a production at the school she works at. She does the plays there. So she's a little busy, but she's probably going to try to make an appearance at some point. And Ryan, I think rumor has it, you told me that your sister might be stopping by as well at some point.
Yeah, we might be stopping by together. So,
all right.
Keep your ear to the door. Might be stopping by. I don't know if she'll play any games.
Yeah.
But I'll give it a shot with some Fall Guys again. Last year, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. No, it's a fun. I saw somebody in a Fall Guys Halloween costume last night. It was pretty. Like the kid could barely make it up the stairs. but I hope everybody had a good Halloween who celebrates. Yeah. And Snowman, since it's the first time I've seen you in the comments since I returned from Virginia, and since I haven't done it before now that I remember, because I can be a jerk sometimes. Thank you so much for filling in for me while I was on vacation in Virginia, Snowman. You did a great job. I won't hold the fact that you're a Niners fan against you.
All right, so we're gonna get into what we're doing this episode. Again, we're doing another happy hour for another Friday show. We might do doing a couple more of these in the next couple months, because
we could mix it up, huh?
Let's mix it up a little bit. So we're each having an adult beverage. I presume since Dustin's feeling better about his health, he's probably indulging a cold one tonight. So I'm gonna ask you, Dustin, what you drinking?
Oh, well, thanks for letting me go first, sir. I am drinking the Elysian Brewing Dark of the Moon Pumpkin Stout.
Ooh.
It's part of a fall variety pack that Tracy got me when she was returning from a trip as a thank you for watching my little dog nephew. So
Hey,
this thing, I- I'll tell you, I hadn't had a lesion before this. I'm going to be trying the rest of their beers because I've enjoyed every single beer that I've had from this variety pack. The pumpkin stout is good. When I heard that, I was like, that's kind of an odd combo, but I'll tell you, it works. And I believe that this brewery is based out of brewed and bottled. Oh, Seattle, Washington. So
hey.
how fitting that I am drinking a beer from a Seattle-based brewery. But it's delicious. I'd recommend it. Every flavor's been good, so get it if it's sold near you. And with that, I cede the floor to you. Before we cheers, sir, what are you drinking?
So tonight I'm indulging in the Fin du Monde from Unibrew. It is
Ooh,
the brasserie but located in Chambly, Quebec. I've had this before. I had it on Sunday with my dinner. Had a nice pot roast dinner on Sunday.
oh,
It
nice.
paired very well. Very satisfied. But this is a Trappist ale. It's a Trapel. It's brewed with spices. It's 9%er.
Oh, that'll
So
get you.
but here's the thing, though. Even though it's a 9%er, it's so smooth.
Oh,
Trappist
nice.
ales are so smooth, and that's one beer I'm looking forward to brewing when I finish up my craft brewing certification.
Yeah.
This is one of the first. I don't know how difficult it is to make. Actually, it's funny. I was looking up just for spits and giggles. I went to Chat GPT
Okay.
and I asked the question, "How do you brew a Trappist ale?" And it came up with the recipe, and I'm like,
Yeah, you
I
could at
could do
least give it a
this.
shot,
Give it a shot. It won't be one of my first, but it will be definitely on the list to make. But I poured my contents into this
That looks
special
good.
glass.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I got this glass. I'll tell you a story about this glass. So my brother and I, about close to it's over 10 years ago now. Uh, the Boca Bistro in Saratoga, they had during Saratoga Beer Week, they had a beer pairing dinner. The
Mhm.
beer pairing dinner was with Dogfish Head Brewery, and Dogfish
Okay.
Head Brewing is one of my favorites. Great,
Yep.
and I love the Brewmasters mini series they had on A&E back in the day. I actually bought the series on Amazon Prime Video. I was listening to it the other day, getting some inspiration again from when I do my crafts brewing certification. So they give us these, in addition to the beer pairing dinner, it was one of the finest dinners I've ever been to. It was awesome. First,
Oh.
they paired it with all sorts of beers from the from the from the brewery. Um, I had beef cheek. I never had beef cheek before, and I found out beef cheek is delicious. And
Okay.
it makes the bad things go away. So in addition to the dinner, you also got a souvenir coaster and you got a glass that is specially brewed
Okay.
for Dogfish Head. And this
Uh,
is what it looks like
nice. Okay.
as the neck at the bottom. And I guess what's supposed to do is that if you put your 60-minute, 90-minute on a heart, or if you really,
120
really,
minute, right?
if you're really adventurous, the 120-minute,
Yeah.
and it basically aerates it and gives it its flavor. So I put in I felt it was appropriate to put the Fin du Monde in this type of glass because it's a Trappist ale.
Yeah.
And I love me some Trappist ales. I was really sad to find out that Spencer Trappist Ale, which is
Yeah.
from
That's
a brewery down in Massachusetts at a monastery, brewed in a
monastery.
monastery.
Yep.
It closed in 2022.
Oh man, see that because I
Yeah.
was gonna say that was the only Trappist ale I've ever had is the Spencer one.
Yeah, Uncle Melvin killed the Spencer Trappist
Oh,
ale. Actually,
geez.
I have 2 more cans in the fridge. I actually may bring one down to you,
Oh
so we
man.
can commemorate the ending of your live stream with the Fin du Monde.
All right. Well, also remember I said that the beer that I drank last week, I had
Yep.
one with your name on it, and I do. The foggy oh geez. I can't remember the name of the beer, but it was from Ouzelfinch and it was good.
Yep. Yep. So Cheers, my friend.
Hey, cheers to you. And
Hey.
I like this thing of the designed glasses. The only designed glass that I have specifically like that is from
So
Sam Adams Brewing. They've designed their own glass specifically for use with Sam Adams.
So I don't know if you remember the Mary Monk.
Mm-hmm.
They had one in Albany. They had one in Saratoga.
Went
And
to
they
the
had
Albany location quite a bit.
Yep. Another bar. I'm sad that closed because they
Yeah,
had a lot of
gone
great
too
Belgian
soon.
beers. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had a Trappist ale. I don't know if you remember this one. Quack. KWAK.
I don't think I remember that one.
You don't remember that one? They
No.
had Quack. If you got Quack, they had it in a special. I'll have to bring up the special beer holder. But the beer glass it came in was so cool.
Oh, I got to see this thing. I had a couple. We can talk about it tomorrow when you're here. I got a couple like beer glasses that are supposed to be, like
Okay.
specifically
But
designed.
this one was especially cool. I'll share the screen.
Yeah,
This
all
is
right.
what the Quack from Pavel Quack. That's what it was.
Oh, let me see. It's loading on my end here. Oh yeah, that looks cool. That looks awesome. Oh
It's
man.
And they had to stop serving it with the glass because people would steal the glass.
Oh yeah, of course. People,
Knuckleheads.
yeah.
Bunch
People
of-
ruin everything.
People ruin things. People are
Yeah.
butt munchers. And they ruin things like getting a nice bottle of Quack with a really cool glass.
Yeah,
So,
that is really cool.
yeah.
That
So
is
I
really cool. And I do have to, I feel like Uncle Al's giving me a little heat here. He's saying Ryan drinking his beer from a proper glass like a gentleman. Hey, I had to rush. And I'm getting I just grabbed the bottle. I'm sorry, Uncle Al. I drank it out of a glass last week.
You did. You did. And Julie from Michigan checking in saying, hi. Hey, Julie. Thanks for joining us. All right. So we're going to get to, I shared this in our Discord, our No Credentials Required Discord. Check it out. It's in the description. And we're going to have a little bit of a impromptu hot food takes. Where is that? There it is. Little hot food takes.
Friday and Saturday, things are melding into Friday Day.
Worlds colliding, Jerry. Worlds colliding. And I found this on the Discord. I put this on the Discord chat, and I want to bring it up. I found it on Twitter, and this was from a young lady based in Las Vegas. She went to a Vegas Golden Knights game, like you would.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to find the original tweet. There it is. So she got this special little item.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll bring up the hot food takes banner. So let me go ahead and present what she got. She got this. It's a literal souvenir Zamboni with chicken tenders and fries. And now I want to go to Las Vegas and have this.
Well, okay, so here's the thing, because you
pass, Dustin. Smash your pass.
You originally said, you said that we were going to talk about this. Ryan and I, as much as it seems like we just come up with all this stuff off the cuff, we do plan some elements of the show. And we had discussed this previously. He said he put it in the Discord. If you haven't joined us yet over there, jump on in. The water's nice and warm. The link is in the description. Mm-hmm. But this thing, I was going to, and I didn't get a chance to type it because it was a busy week at work. But this thing, I was going to say, what it would be the deciding factor for me in this thing is price, because I guarantee you, for the amount of food that you get in that, it's not going to be worth the price. But now that I know that you get to keep the Zamboni, that makes it a little better, because I would certainly find other uses for that Zamboni. I'm serving guac out of that Zamboni. I'm like, I'm doing stuff food related in that Zamboni, because I have to admit, the chicken tenders, they look good, but they look better than your like garden variety stadium chicken tenders, but they're not they're not looking like they're going to blow your mind, but to see a
Those
hockey game,
fries.
get a souvenir Zamboni, I'm in. I'm saying I'm in on that.
Yeah, those fries look amazing.
They do look good. Are those
Yeah.
crinkle cut? I couldn't
No,
tell from the.
no, I don't know. They're not crinkle cut. They do look fresh cut, but
Okay,
they're
yeah.
definitely seasoned really well.
Yeah,
Really
and
nice.
they look more like pommes frites almost from the way they're seasoned, and they look
Right.
like they would have a good crisp.
Yeah. I did go a little bit further down in the replies, and she's actually gone viral with this gigantic amount of food. But I actually went down into the comments a little bit further because people were asking, how much did it cost? How much did it cost? I bet you it cost an arm and a leg. Less than $30. I think $28 and change.
Whoa, that's
But
surprising.
you get to keep the Zamboni.
Yeah, no, that changes. Like I'm in on that. It's almost
like-
worth. It's almost worth just the Zamboni, and you get
Yeah.
bonus fries and tendies.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like remember back in the day we went to the ballpark, we went to go to Heritage Park, you go to Albany Colony Yankee games, and they had the ice cream sundaes and the hats and the batters helmets. Get to keep the helmet. Dustin's frozen, or did I freeze?
No, I can still see you. You're good on my end. I think what might be happening is my computer, in its infinite wisdom, is deciding to back up my entire hard drive right now. So that might be part of it.
That could be part of it. But yeah,
Screw you, time machine.
Screw you, time machine. But yeah, do you remember when you were a kid? And they still have them at Tri-City Valley Cats games too. You get the batter's helmet, little batter's helmet. You get the ice cream, the soft serve ice cream in the helmet. It's kind of like that, or like a helmet full of nachos. Like we did that like a couple of years ago. I won a trip to Portland, Maine to go. What's the Shipyard Brewery? Got to stay overnight. Shipyard. Got to stay overnight at a hotel in Portland. Got walk around a little bit. Got to go to the brewery. We also went to a Portland Sea Dogs game, and we got like the thing of fries. It came in a helmet. You get to keep the helmet. Get the batter's helmet.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah. I'm down for that kind of stuff. And is it partially because I always wanted one and my dad would never get me one at Heritage Park? Maybe. Maybe. And also, is it partially because I drive by Heritage Park on the way? Well, not so much on the way to work anymore, but I frequently drive by the remains of Heritage Park because I work right near there. And each day a little part of me dies inside because I remember what used to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly.
That's a yes. But yeah, what do you think, folks? I guess we got some comments about it. Your Uncle Al says that Zamboni will resurface your digestive system. Sick Diggy joining us from Norway, where it's Black November. So welcome, Sick Diggy. Give us a little education about Black November in Norway. Well, actually, Scandinavia. I found out it was actually all Scandinavia. He says, I see that you guys forgot the chocolate milk. Fortunately, I brought a couple of gallons. No, we're partaking in adult beverages tonight there, Sick.
And I do have to admit, when Sick was educating us in the Discord earlier today, my first thought was like, oh, so they record black metal bands the entire month?
I mean, Norway does have some
they do
black metal bands over there. So,
yeah.
Although before I came on, I was listening to some dwarf metal before I came on.
I was telling people at work today. Metal has to be the genre of music with the most subgenres. I'm calling it right now. There are so many.
We got heavy metal, death metal, metalcore, dwarf metal, dark, black metal.
Yep. Then you have doom, which gets rid of the metal. It's just doom. You got gent now for the kids, the modern kids. You got Sick might know about this, but over in Sweden they got the Gothenburg sound. The In Flames and Soil Work and bands like that. So yeah, they got.
Yeah, he does say black metal is quite controversial in Norway. So
okay, all right.
Well, that was this edition of Hot Food Takes. What's yours? Would you like that Zamboni to take home with you?
Yeah, of course, Uncle Al mentioning thrash metal,
Oh,
the
of
big
course, thrash
four,
metal. Can't.
speed metal.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. All
Power
right, Dust.
metal,
Power metal. Yep.
hair metal.
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
I'm done. I'm done.
All right, we're going to touch on this briefly before we go to commercial break and talk about the NFL Week 9 and Thursday Night
Ugh,
Football.
do we have to?
Yeah, we got to touch up on it.
Oh
Just
man,
because
congratulations, Dr. Lady and Kevin, who I didn't know Kevin was a Dodgers fan. But yeah,
try to convert you to come over. I'm like, no, Yankees fan.
I know. I've been a Yankees fan forever.
I gotta say this though, and this may sound a bit morbid and a bit weird, but as soon as I saw the news that Fernando Valenzuela passed away, and
Mm.
Nando, thoughts and prayers with the Valenzuela family, I said to myself, Dodgers are gonna win this thing.
Yeah.
They have to.
Yeah, that like you're saying, it sounds morbid, but I guarantee you that inspired them probably,
Yeah.
Um, but it was just, and I feel bad. I feel bad because I know how nervous Brent was when we guested on his show. And I feel like I feel like it was when his shock when I said that Knobloch was one of my favorite Yankees.
Mhm.
He just couldn't recover from that. So I'm sorry, Brent. I'll take responsibility for the Yankees' performance, but they didn't do what I said. They didn't pitch well. They didn't pitch well.
They pitched all right up
Yes, ish.
until I think game one
Game one was theirs
wrecked
to
them.
win. Yeah.
That game wrecked them mentally
Yes.
because it set up a whole stream of events that just they couldn't recover from.
Yeah. It really and hey, I have to say this. Hats off to Freddie Freeman. Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Freddie Freeman, fantastic job in the World Series. You're gonna be remembered in LA forever. And and from all accounts and what I've heard about his story and who he is as a person, nobody deserves it more than Freddie Freeman. I just wish he didn't do it against the Yankees. And while we're here, let's call out that idiot fan that tried to rip off Mookie Betts' glove. I mean, banned from Yankee Stadium for Game 5, right? Because he did it in 4, I think it was.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the Yankees said, yeah, he can come back, but Major League Baseball was like, no, he can't.
Yeah, no, good.
The one time Rob Manfred gets it correct.
Yeah. But just that's not the kind of fans we need in Yankee land or anywhere in baseball for that matter, or anywhere in sports. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't be a dummy. Yeah, and try to. I mean, because it turned into a meme and not in a good way.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah.
but yeah, I figured we'd talk a little bit more. And what drives me crazy is that I was listening to Levac and Gaz this afternoon, and Levac brought up a bunch of stats that drove me absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
The Dodgers outscored the Yankees by 1 run. The Yankees actually had a better batting average. They also had more hits. They had more home runs. But the thing is, the Dodgers scored more runs at the right time.
Yes. Yes. Their runs were more timely. They got them when they needed them. And I sound like a broken record, but I said the Yankees will need to pitch well, and they did not pitch well. It is what I feared because Judge specifically, I know he's getting a lot of heat, but you can't deny he cooled down considerably in the World Series. And with him cooling down, he's one of your main offensive, threats in that order. And then when stuff like that happens, the pitching needs to pick up the slack or other hitters need to come alive. And Stanton did his best and Soto did Soto things, but also Anthony Rizzo couldn't really get it going. And he had been somebody that had been kind of a spark for the Yankees at times this season when healthy. That's a big asterisk, but credit to the Dodgers. I had said on the preview that that the only thing that worried me was that the Dodgers, the only team that scored more runs than them, in all of baseball, I think was the Diamondbacks, if I remember correctly.
Yep. Yep.
The Dodgers were number 2 in runs scored throughout the Major League Baseball season, but man, what a way for it to end. We were so happy that the Yankees got back there, and just to see it go the way it went, not the best, but hats off to the Dodgers. They deserve to win it. They were the better team without just with timeliness, like Ryan said. You got to do it at the right time, and the Dodgers were able to do that. The stats don't always tell the full story.
Yeah, and the disastrous defense the Yankees played up 5-0. 5-0. They choked Game 5 away. They gave it away with all those errors in that inning, with Aaron Judge not securing the ball. Different types of had all these errors, and that led to runs for the Dodgers, and that's what gave them their comeback. And they completed it in the I think the 8th inning. They got 2 runs in the 8th to take the lead, and then
7-6. It just did. I think that they were going to pull an Edmonton Oilers and come all the way back. I didn't really think so. But if they had pulled it off in Game 5, you'd have to argue that the momentum would have swung the Yankees' way, and then who knows what happens. Baseball. I feel like baseball, especially playoffs in any sport, is a momentum-based thing. Well, except for the NFL, because it's one and done. It's win or go home. But in the NHL, the NBA, and baseball, momentum swings happen. And man, if they didn't make all those defensive errors, we could be talking a different thing today. Who knows?
Yeah. All right. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to dive into the NFL Week 9. We'll review Thursday Night Football. And then we'll talk about the rest of what we're interested in Week 9. So stand by for more No Credentials Required. This episode of No Credentials Required is brought to you by Invader Coffee. For the coffee lover who wants good, quality coffee with no bullshit and no filler, Invader Coffee is an ultra-premium, veteran-owned coffee company proudly delivering only the best coffee your hard-earned money can buy. They aim to only serve the highest quality, organic, air-roasted coffee beans sourced from free trade farms all over the world. They keep things simple. The best coffee at an affordable price in order to provide you with the value you deserve for your morning boost. 100% fair trade, 100% organic coffee beans, 100% air-roasted, 100% money-back guarantee. Visit invadercoffee.com, enter promo code BELLYUP at checkout, and receive 15% off your order. That's right. That's what the handsome bearded man in the commercial said. Invader Coffee is truly the best money. The best money. Oh man, this 9% is getting to me. The best coffee your hard-earned money can buy. We know times are tough. You want to get the most out of your coffee, and Invader Coffee does it. They do it every single time. Every single bag you get, it's fresh roasted, air roasted. None of that acidity, none of that bitterness. It's also they also have a money back guarantee. So if you don't like what you get, you can send it back, and you get your money back in return. But I guarantee you this: you will not find, you won't be getting that. You won't be requesting that money back. You won't be requesting it. That's how good this coffee is. From the OG blend to their seasonal blends to some of their regular blends they have on like the Breaking Case of Emergency, the Mexican chocolate, the T-Max organic, which I haven't tried yet, but it's always sold out when I try to get it.
Oh,
they also have cold brew coffee in cans. So you get yourself, you need an immediate boost. If you need an immediate boost for your day, get yourself some of the cold brew coffee, and it ships right to your door. It ships very quickly. And I got a bag of Invader Coffee today. Actually, update on the Mendoza backstop challenge. Dustin's the winner with
oh man,
yeah. We have to tweak some rules for next year's challenge though.
We'll come up with something. We'll come up with something else. We'll figure it out.
But tomorrow, Dustin, in addition to bringing maybe a couple of food items, but I'm also going to bring you a bag of the pumpkin pecan.
Oh, thank you, sir.
That's why I ordered. So you'll be
Oh.
getting the pumpkin pecan tomorrow when I stop by and hang out and play some Fall Guys with you.
Well, and
but
awesome because that's what I was going to say. Spoilers, everyone, but I will be, if you tune in at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time or any time after that is like morning-ish, I will be drinking the pumpkin pecan to
yeah,
fuel me to start because I have that. So I will make it in the French press because I got the
ooh,
whole bean variety.
nice.
You can get ground coffee, but you can also get the whole bean. Ryan and I like to get the whole bean because we're a couple of French press guys here.
That's right.
But also, let me speak a little bit on Invader's customer service. I've mentioned it before, but they are very responsive. They will try to make things right if there's an issue with your order. Very responsive, and and also I remember when my first order of coffee came, even before I was on this podcast. When Ryan was doing this podcast solo, I would tune into episodes, and I remember he said that Invader Coffee was a sponsor. He said, try this coffee because I believe in it. I did. I liked it. They sent me a handwritten note thanking me for the purchase. So that's the level of service that you're getting along with a great product.
That's right. And if you go to the description on Facebook, on YouTube, and in the podcast, the affiliate link we have, enter promo code BELLYUP at checkout. You get 15% off your order, which covers a little bit of the shipping. And you may pay a little bit more, but it shows up to your door in a matter of days. Not in a matter of weeks, a matter of days. So you get yourself some fresh roasted coffee, whether it be ground or a whole bean. Like Dustin said, we prefer the whole bean because we freshly ground it ourselves. But yeah, Invader Coffee, support the show. And again, veteran-owned company. So it's run by veterans, combat veterans. It's just, which is, like I said, in past episodes. It seems to be coffee, brewing, coffee, beer, and distilling are like the three main businesses that veterans go into after they're done with their military service. But Invader Coffee makes a damn good coffee. We appreciate the service. You should appreciate their service too by buying some Invader Coffee. Use the link in the description. Use promo code BELLYUP at checkout. Get 15% off your order. All right, let's talk about Thursday night football real briefly. Texans took on the Jets. I was not looking forward to this one, but the Jets took the game. You would say, I could say minor upset because the Jets were favored by 1.5 in this game.
Yeah,
but people are calling it an upset because the Texans, their record compared to the Jets' record. But let's talk about this a little bit more. I mean, I'll speak to it more because I watched the entire game because I'm a Jets fan and I hate myself. And I'm pretty sure Al Michaels hated himself too. The booth getting to call this game. He probably had a 22 loaded by his side just in case things went really, really bad. And it looked like that for a little while. I don't mean to sound dark and morbid, but I'm gonna because it's my show. But this was an ugly game at first. In the first half, it was just terrible. It was terrible. Neither team could score. Neither team could do anything much on offense. And Malachi Corley, welcome to the Jets.
Oh man, just was it?
He jetted so hard. Had home free for a touchdown. Pulls it to Sean Jackson. Drops the ball before he gets into the end, before he crosses the plane. Rolls to the back of the end zone. Touchback, and you're like, it's just a season. This is just a season. That's the way it is. But hey, I gotta say, Thomas Morstead, MVP of this team so far. MVP, 75-yard punt. But in Jets fashion, the Texans go for a 98-yard drive, score the game's first touchdown, and you're just sitting there going, why am I a fan of this team? But then the second half happened. The Jets score a touchdown on the first possession, going on pretty decently timed drive. Great effort by Garrett Wilson, one-headed catch, runs it in for a touchdown, ties the score. Texans go up ahead, and then Garrett Wilson has one of the, I think, is probably going to be the catch of the year in the NFL. That amazing catch that initially was ruled incomplete.
Yeah.
Initially it was ruled an incomplete pass, but the Jets, as soon as I saw the replay, I saw the slow-mo, I'm going, that's reviewable. That's a touchdown. That's a touchdown. And the Jets challenge Jeff Ulbrich challenged the play, eventually ruled it a touchdown. Jets defense doing their thing. They got a couple breaks with Kaimi Fairbairn doinking the field goal that would have brought the score to 14-13. Jets go down the field. Aaron Rodgers hooks up with his best friend Devontae Adams. Great catch. Great pattern.
Yeah.
That was pretty much the dagger.
Yeah, that was the one. And I didn't see as much of this game as you did, but I did see the second half. Basically, I got home. I was spending Halloween with family, and I got home, and I turned the game on because I had curiosity about this game, and I remember watching some of the highlights that they were showing because I joined the game pretty much right after halftime, and Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams specifically just looked so out of sync in the first half. There were balls where Aaron missed Devontae, and then there were balls where Devontae couldn't quite get to it, and it just looked out of sorts. And then there was that catch. I remember, I forget where it happened, but Devontae had to be evaluated for a concussion or something, wasn't he?
That was on 4th and 2. And he juked his defender out of his cleats, gets the catch, gets the first down, gets knocked out of bounds, and lands awkwardly. I thought it would be a neck, but it turned out he was in concussion protocol, but came back to the game.
Yep, came back to the game, and he looked good. And for the sake of my fantasy team, I'm glad he got his catch there, his touchdown. And for you, I was glad that they won, but I also was wondering how you felt about it. And another question to posit to you, Ryan. The Jets got to C.J. Stroud. They sacked him 8 times,
Yep.
if I remember correctly.
8 times. They beat him up.
But aside from that, C.J. Stroud, the last couple weeks, he hasn't quite looked as good as he did last season. And the Texans as a whole are kind of going down. Do they look like a team that's kind of regressing or is maybe in a little bit of trouble to you?
I would say yes and no. And yes, that CJ Stroud is missing his 2 best receivers. Nico Collins is still in the IR. Stephon Diggs, unfortunately, is out for the rest of the
season now, yeah.
And they relied a lot on their running game. And to their credit, they tore up the Jets. They found their weak spot. The Jets are having a difficult time stopping the run. Yeah. And Joe Mixon had a great game. Over 100 yards rushing on 21 carries and a touchdown. But the Jets defense, they tightened up. As a whole, the Jets tightened things up in the second half. Offensively, they look cleaner. They had better drives. Yeah. They had more sustained drives. They did a lot of pre-snap motion, which they haven't done pretty much in the last decade and a half.
Yeah. I'm gonna say from an outsider's perspective, if Todd Downing is running the offense for that Broncos game, they don't lose that game. No. There's just a couple of things. There is a noticeable difference, and I'm not trying to take shots at Nathaniel Hackett here.
Do it.
But there's a noticeable difference between Todd Downing's run offense and how the offense looked under Nathaniel Hackett. There's no denying that.
And here's the thing too: their running game would have been a lot better if everyone was healthy.
Yeah.
John Simpson went out with a groin injury. Jake Hansen went out with a hamstring injury. So he had 2 tackles, and Olu Fashanu and Max Mitchell playing right guard and left guard respectively. And I gotta say, I gotta give them full credit for how they did. They did their job, keeping Aaron Rodgers upright. They did also decent job with the running game. I wish they could open up the running game a little bit more, but they got to reevaluate things. They got 10 days till Arizona, and full credit where credit's due to both Fashanu and to Mitchell for filling in where they need to fill in because they were running out of guys. And I gotta say this too. I'm very concerned about that turf at MetLife Stadium.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like throughout the entire game, and especially the second half, it seemed like every other play, every 2 to 3 plays, you hear the official go, timeout for injury, timeout for injury, timeout for injury. And it's like, what is going on? So I don't know if it's part of it's the turf. I don't know if it's because it's just that physical of a game, but that field concerns me.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and you're not the only one to mention it. We've had other people who have guessed it on the show that said, I'm trying to remember, was it Cool McCain who was talking about the turf there? And he said it was some of the worst in football, from what he's read and heard. I mean, and it's taken people out. And even I noticed passing because, hey, I ate 7 Reese's yesterday, so I was a little tired when I got home. And I also had pot roast, Ryan. That's what Tracy made. But so I was pretty tired when I got home. But I noticed, and I just hear Al Michaels at one point. He's just like, and we have another one down. He didn't even say what team it was. He just was like, we have another one
another
down.
man down, another man down. Yeah, and I'm concerned too because I know Sauce Gardner hasn't had the best year, but he was on the turf himself a couple of times sitting down because of a foot injury. And I'm a little concerned about that. So, but yeah, good win. Hopefully they don't fall flat on their face 10 days later like they did the last Thursday night game where they didn't show up at all against Denver. Hopefully they show up against the Cardinals. Kevin Wilson in the chat saying, rate the catch. Catch of the year so far.
I mean,
and all time at MetLife, it surpasses OBJ.
Oh man, that's some big. All right. I'm gonna after the show, I'm gonna have to watch the two side by side.
Yeah. It also says, love me some pot roast. Me too.
Yeah, pot roast is good, man. Also, I gotta try that Mississippi pot roast. Have either of you ever had that?
No, but it sounds intriguing.
Yeah, it's a lot of butter and ranch seasoning, and then you put like sport peppers in there, and there's other stuff. And I had never heard of it until social media. That's one of the positives of social media. I'm getting exposed to a lot of new foods, and I like to try them all. So it means I'm probably going to be 400 pounds.
You can't get to 400 pounds unless you eat, my friend. All right, let's talk about the rest of what we're paying attention to week 9. Bye week, in case you're a trashy fantasy football team like mine, is looking at your fantasy roster. If it's trash, remember that Pittsburgh, San Francisco, they're on bye weeks this week. But let's start off with the most intriguing matchup, according to us, in week number 9 of the NFL on Sunday and Monday. So, Dustin, go ahead and sound off. Who's your most intriguing matchup?
Well, I was between a couple of games for this one, but I landed on one that's kind of strange when I was like, did I really just pick this? But I got to go. I got to go with the Colts Vikings for a couple of reasons. One, I'm sorry, everybody, but there's no denying that the Colts offense looked much more competent with Joe Flacco in center. And this Joe Flacco story, I wanted to keep going. This guy, he came off the couch for Cleveland last year. He was unbelievable. Cleveland idiotically gets rid of him. And now he's got the Colts job. And I guarantee you, Michael Pittman will get going with Joe Flacco under center. Jonathan Taylor's back now, so they have a running game again. And I mean, their defense, the Colts defense hasn't looked great, but I am very intrigued because with Joe Flacco under center, I might be saying something that is controversial, but I feel like that offense will be able to go step for step with the Minnesota Vikings, who on paper, I would argue have more talent than the Colts offense, than the Colts offense. But the Vikings, I want to see what Brian Flores does to scheme up that defense and get them ready, that much improved Vikings defense, because the Vikings, after starting 5-0, are in a little bit of a slide here. So the Vikings got to get it right. And I think doing it against the Joe Flacco-led Colts is going to be a little tougher than people think. I think this could be an entertaining game, a nice little chess match. And also Sam Darnold, let's not forget, even though the Vikings have had a little bit of a slide lately, this is a resurgent season for Sam Darnold. So you have two quarterbacks that people kind of gave up on. Sam Darnold because of his past, and Joe Flacco because of his age. So I like to see these two guys succeeding. I mean, on one of our preview shows, I rated the Minnesota Vikings as one of the 5 worst QB rooms in the NFL. And I've been proven wrong. So, but yeah, I am very interested in this matchup, and I'll be watching. And with that, I want to see what you've got your eye on this week.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure who to pick as my intriguing matchup, but right now I'm going with Lions and Packers. And that's because, again, like a couple weeks ago, like the Lions and Vikings went at it. That decided for now what the fate of the NFC Central, the NFC North was.
Yeah.
And here we are again. Lions at 6-1, Packers at 5-2. Whoever wins this matchup gets inside track for the lead in the NFC North. Yeah. Now, the monkey wrench thrown in is that Jordan Love is questionable for this game. And I'm curious to see how Malik Willis will he'll be game planned for the Detroit Lions. I mean, unlike other defenses he's played against, this is a special defense.
Yeah.
And we've seen it over the last couple of weeks between their absolute thrashing of the Cowboys, playing well against the Vikings, and then last week against the Titans, just absolutely smoking them. So this is going to be a low-scoring affair, I think, because both teams have very good defenses.
Yeah, yeah.
Packers. I think it was the Packers lead the league in turnovers caused. I think Detroit somewhere in that pack as well. But they also can get to the quarterback, even without Aiden Hutchinson. They can still get to the quarterback. So that's my most intriguing matchup for this week. Wasn't sure what to pick up first because I'm thinking to myself, all right, I'm going to leave this alone for now. I want to see what you picked. And I was like, all right, Lions Packers, which is a 425 game.
Yeah, well, because I almost went Lions Packers, and then I said, you know what? Because I saw that you had not filled yours out yet, and I'm like, he's probably waiting on me. But I was like, I almost picked Lions Packers, but then I started thinking about that Vikings Colts game, and I was like, you know what? I could pick this because Lions Packers, it's a very intriguing matchup, and like you said, if Malik Willis plays, I will be very curious to see what they do to try to help him against this Lions defense. And I mean, Detroit looks like a wagon right now. And also, more importantly, will Green Bay be able to stop Jared Goff? He's been unbelievable. Right. Nobody's really talking about it except for you, my friend. But
18 incompletions in his last 5 games.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But I would say if I was a Packers fan, if Willis plays, expect a lot of Josh Jacobs. And if Detroit can stop Josh Jacobs, then they will win the game. But Julie, you're gonna like to hear this, but I think Detroit's are king of the North right now, and I think the NFC North might just be the most entertaining division in football this year.
Indeed. All right, we'll move on to Take Me Down to Desperation City. I don't have any other exceptions.
Oh man, we gotta watch it.
AKA Bounce Back City.
We gotta watch it because Axl Rose, from what I hear, is very litigious.
No more litigious than Lars Ulrich.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there. All right. Desperation City / Bounce Back City. I went with Bears Cardinals. And the reason why I went with Bears Cardinals, Bears are coming off a heartbreaking loss to the Commanders, which we detailed extensively on our show on Tuesday. Go check out in the archives with our buddy Drew Willingham. And they're facing a Cardinals team. They're going to travel. They're actually traveling to Arizona, facing a Cardinals team they're frisky, but they're streaky. So we don't know which Cardinals team is going to show up on Sunday. Will it be the frisky team that beat the Dolphins last week in Miami? Or will it be the team that has been motorboarded a couple times?
Yep.
So I'm curious to see what the Bears will do to show up. Yeah, they got motorboarded by the Packers. Let's see who else they got. They got motorboarded by the that's preseason. And the Commanders. So they've been motorboard. They've been boat raced a couple times.
Yeah,
but they've also beaten teams that you ordinarily don't see people beat, like the 49ers in Santa Clara, mind you, and they beat Miami last week. So,
and let's not forget about that week 1. They almost shocked Buffalo. They almost had them.
Yeah. So they're frisky, but they're streaky. I'm kind of curious to see who shows up for the Cardinals on Sunday. If home cooking's good, or if Caleb Williams is going to poop in the pot and spoil the party. So,
well, Black Ops 6 came out, Ryan. Black Ops 6 just came out, so that might destroy his prep.
Call of Duty calls for Kyler. How about you, Dustin? Desperation City / Bounce Back City for you.
Well, for the third consecutive week I've done it. Here's the Seahawks portion of the show because I
wait. Homer alert!
And I'm sure that my fellow Seahawks fan and aficionado and fantasy sports expert Kevin Wilson agrees. This game has an air of desperation to it for both teams, okay? The Rams, just when it appeared that they were finally getting healthy on offense and they were getting some of their cogs back, Puka Nacua apparently left practice. It might have been, was it yesterday or today? Yesterday. And also, so the Rams, they want to win this game because they want to keep their momentum going in an NFC West that is very much up for grabs. Okay, it's more open than it's ever been in recent memory. But on the flip side, my Seahawks need this win desperately. After how everything went against Buffalo last week, they looked as bad as they have looked all season. And let's not get it confused. The Bills' defense is getting healthier. We talked at the beginning of the season, I think you talked specifically about how many starters on defense the Bills were missing. Well, those guys are starting to come back now. They're starting to get healthier, but still, the Seahawks looked bad. They had everything. They had muffed punts. Even though they picked off Josh Allen hadn't thrown an interception for the first 7 weeks of the season. The Seahawks picked them off, couldn't turn it into points. Geno tripped when they went for it on 4th down and fell on his back. You know, it was just a bad game for the Seahawks. So they need this win to keep any momentum and hope alive, because the Niners are going to get healthier at some point, and the Rams, when healthier, are a decent team. And Matthew Stafford can always surprise you. And Sean McVay, you know he's going to have something up his sleeve. And I thought that this defense would suffer more with the departure of Aaron Donald, but they haven't. They haven't as much as I thought they would. So Darnell, if you're out there listening, playmaker, I know you're probably licking your chops at this game, but both teams have the feel that they need to win this game. So that's my pick for Desperation City there.
Well, I do have some breaking news in terms of injury for this game.
Oh, okay.
So according to ESPN, DJ Metcalf and Noah Fant are out.
Oh, that hurts even more. Because I knew DK was questionable, but you don't have DK because you could see I love Tyler Lockett more than anybody, and I really want JSN to break out the way that I think most people, even outside of Seattle, thought that he would. But they missed DK Metcalf, the candy-eating machine himself, when he was out last week. You could tell they didn't have that element that could take the top off of defense a little bit, to use an overused term. So that's tough. And also to lose Noah Fant, your main tight end. Ooh, that makes me even more. They need this win, but I don't know how it's going to happen. We're going to have to see.
We'll find out on Sunday. All right. Next up.
Ready? And pull. Trash.
It's the self-hatred game of the week, which means you have to be a really hardcore fan to watch this game, or you just hate yourself, like Al Michaels did on Thursday night when he had to call the Jets game. At least the first half anyway, because it sounded like it. Dustin, self-hatred game of the week for you.
I hate to do it. I really hate to do it. I don't I don't like beating a dead horse, but for the second week in a row, I'm picking a game involving the New Orleans Saints. It's Saints versus Panthers for me.
Ugh.
Few reasons. Okay, Deontay Johnson is now in Baltimore, so that gives, and Adam Thielen, he might still not be back, so that gives Bryce Young, who's starting again this week, Xavier Leggett to throw to. Okay, Xavier Leggett, high draft pick. I think he's going to be good, but it hasn't been good previously when Bryce Young was trying to command the offense. No offense to Bryce Young. And on the Saints side of things, at least it looks like Derek Carr is going to come back for this game, because I don't think anybody was prepared for another game of Spencer Rattler coming in, even though I think he was benched last week at some point. But the Saints, Alvin Kamara at times looks great, and then at times he doesn't look as great. The Saints defense, who has always been good for the last few years, they haven't been able to stop anybody in recent weeks. They've got some injuries at wide receiver. I think Rashid Shahed is still out. And I just, if Derek Carr comes back, then there's a chance that the Saints could lead in this game early and never look back. But it also, I mean, he's probably going to have some rust on him, and the Saints as a team just hasn't looked as good as they looked the first 2 weeks. So I think there's not a lot to enjoy this game. I'm sorry to do it again for the second consecutive week, New Orleans, but you're on my list again.
Hold on. I have something for that. Maybe I don't. Never mind.
Oh, all right.
Never mind. All right. My self-hatred game of the week. Bengals Raiders.
Oh.
This game, remember a couple of years ago? It seems like ages ago.
Yeah.
That these two teams were in the 2022 AFC wildcard game.
Yeah.
And the Raiders were taking it to the Bengals. This was the Bengals' run to the AFC Championship game, to the Super Bowl, no less. And now these two teams look like they're trying to finish the season with high draft picks.
Yeah.
The Bengals are terrible. The Raiders are worse. Praise the Lord for Red Zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, unless there's fantasy implications here, like Joe Burrow. Like you have Joe Burrow or any of the receivers for the Bengals on this team. And why would you have anybody on the Raiders on this team at this point?
Yeah.
On offense or defense for that matter.
Yeah, I mean in a IDP league, which I did play in 1 year, individual defensive players, that's what that stands for. You'd want Max Crosby, but that's about it.
Yeah. It's the only guy worth watching on this team from now on. And the trade deadline is on Tuesday, election day. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any movement for him come Tuesday of the trade deadline. Detroit Lions, I'm talking to you.
Apparently, Mark Davis shut it down. Ryan, he said that we're not trading Max Crosby, but I don't know.
That's code for we're trading him. We're trying to get draft picks.
Yeah, you know what? Max Crosby's going to take the money he saves on his contract to pay for that haircut that he gets.
Oh Lord. And the PF Chang's gets at lunch every day. All right, players to watch on offense this week in the NFL, and I'll lead off with this one. I'm picking Derrick Henry, and this is not because I have him in our fantasy league, but because the Ravens are going up against a top 3 defense this week in the Denver Broncos. Yes, the Denver Broncos have a top 3 defense. I never thought I would say that this year, but the Broncos are really great against the pass. They're okay. They're decent against the run. And from what I understand, Lamar Jackson is questionable, but it sounds like he'll play on Sunday. But I'm looking at Derrick Henry because Derrick Henry is on pace for 2,000 yards this year.
Yeah.
And he picked the right team. Let's put it this way, we're 9 weeks into the season. And yes, Derrick Henry picked the right team to go to for this season when he was a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
He was never going to be a lifelong Titan. You knew eventually he would play somewhere else. He's in his late 20s, but he's playing like he's still playing like he's in his early 20s. That's his running style. He's just and the Ravens just know. The Ravens know. They're like, if we can't run him. Like last week, I was really questioning the Ravens' decision making on offense because they didn't run him there. The run game was stopped. The run game was stopped against them. I think that changes this week. Even though the Broncos are 11th against the run, the Ravens are going to come in at home where they're damn near unbeatable, unless they play the Chiefs in the playoffs, and they're going to be angry. They're going to be a bunch of angry birds, and that offensive line is going to try to make way for Derrick Henry to wreak havoc. And I got a feeling about them this week, so that's my player to watch on offense. How about you, Dustin?
Well, my player to watch on offense, and I gravitate towards what I'm wondering about because that's the whole purpose. And I know I probably pick quarterbacks too much. And I'm doing it again this week. I'm picking Baker Mayfield because I want to see. Baker's had a heck of a season, okay? Baker has proven himself. He's proven that he was not a flash in the pan. He earned that contract in Tampa Bay. Clearly, he likes it there. They like having him there. But he's playing a Chiefs defense that, I'll say it, the Chiefs defense is the strong point of their team this year. The Chiefs defense is the reason that they are 7-0. It is not Patrick Mahomes. It is not Travis Kelce. It is not their innovative offense under Andy Reid. It is their defense that is carrying them this year. Have Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs offense been timely this year? Yes, I'll say. But that defense is the real deal, and I want to see what Baker is able to do against them and if they're able to get anything going with Mike Evans being out until I think at least week 12 and Chris Godwin out for the season. So people are going to have to step it up, and will that running game be able to get going against this Chiefs defense? But I'll be interested to see. And will Baker can move a little bit. Will he be timely with his mobility in the pocket and be able to create some space to extend some plays and maybe get something going downfield? So Baker Mayfield is somebody I've got my eye on because I want to see how he gets it done. And I have a suspicion that he'll be able to keep it competitive somehow. I just have a feeling.
All right, let's look at the flip side and talk about the players on defense.
I can't have him locked up. He's important to the defense.
He sure is. Dustin, who you got your eye on this week on defense?
Well, I wish that I had a specific player in mind, but I just got to be honest. The Seahawks defense, the entire unit.
Homer alert. Sorry.
The entire unit, because there's no denying that after looking good early in the Mike McDonald era, they have hit some struggles. There's been injuries, but every team is dealing with injuries. But specifically, I'm talking about the Seahawks run defense. Will they be able to stop Kyron Williams at all? Because that is the key to winning this game. If you can't stop Kyron, you are doomed from the opening kick. And Kyron Williams is having a heck of a season for the LA Rams. And I'm going to keep an extra eye on the defense to see if they can even stop it. But I have a feeling that after my extra live stream, when I turn this game on, I'm probably going to be yelling a lot.
At least, hopefully, you won't be throwing candy like my friend Andy did when I went to his house for Super Bowl back when the Seahawks played the Broncos. And then, like a year later, finding out there was the candy that he threw at the TV. My player or players to watch on defense: Atlanta secondary. Atlanta has a very interesting task this week playing the Cowboys, and we know how the Cowboys can be. Especially they're very streaky. They got their lunch handed to them the last 2 weeks, last 2 playing weeks, because they played Detroit, got their lunch handed to them. Bye week, go to San Francisco, same thing happens, get their lunch handed to them. And Detroit and Atlanta, Raheem Morris, very good defensive coordinator, good defensive head coach. Their secondary is very good, with Jesse Bates leading the way. And it's going to be a very interesting matchup between him and CeeDee Lamb. And let's see how the Falcons do. Can they get home against can the front seven get home against Dak Prescott? Because we know the Dallas Cowboys don't have a running game. They don't have a running game. They bring in Ezekiel Elliott back. He's not doing the job. Now they have Dalvin Cook. What the hell? So this is going to be the Cowboys. Their game is going to be their success is going to be tied to the passing game, and from what we've seen for the Falcons, they can get it done defensively, especially in that secondary. I'm watching them on Sunday when they play the Cowboys.
All right. And isn't it crazy to think that there's a chance that Derrick Henry could have been a Cowboy? That's crazy. People are going nuts in Dallas on why Jerry Jones didn't sign Derrick Henry, and I am loving every minute of it.
Great blunders in free agency history. Derrick Henry not being Gerald Jones not signing Derrick Henry in Dallas. Let's get a couple of comments in before we get out of here. Sick Dicky saying, I remember Sam Dunn's documentary Metal, a Headbanger's Guide. He even filmed in Norway for the documentary.
I might have to check that one out.
Me too. Kevin Wilson also says he's never tried the Mississippi pot roast. Sounds like he might need to give it a go.
Yeah.
And he also says Josh Downs will take off with Flacco. He wrote about it on Belly Up Fantasy Sports. So go check it out.
I'm going to check that out.
He knows his stuff when it comes to fantasy, that's for sure. All right, we're going to get out of here. Before we do, just want to remind you about our social media channels, facebook.com/NoCredsREQ, youtube.com/@NoCredsREQ, the Scarcely Used TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram @NoCredsREQ. On the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast where you podcast, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, and Pandora. Get yourself notified on Twitter and on YouTube. That way you know when live videos go up, or when we're live, or when we have other videos go up on YouTube. You get notification. You go check it out. It's great stuff. On the podcast side, rate and review, 5-star ratings preferred. Review the show on a platform where you can review the show. On Spotify, leave a comment. Leave a comment if you're a subscriber on Spotify. And engage with the show, whether you're watching live or on the live stream, or on the live stream or on replay on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble. Leave a comment. We might get back to you. We'll read it on the air. And don't forget, Dustin's Extra Life live stream tomorrow at 9 on his Twitch channel, twitch.tv/LDusto67. Go to his link at extra-life.org. Search for Dustin Henry. Don't make your donation known on his tax, and it's tax deductible. It's tax deductible, so you can write it off on your taxes for next year. I forgot to mention the podcast side. We've been seeing some really great growth. We are over 2,500 downloads for the year.
Oh man! All right,
Yeah.
I will take that. And I will say part of that is because we've got. I mean, obviously, we got no credentials required on the feed, so that's great enough. But if you subscribe using the feed, you also get the download for the new Three Rails Metro Hockey podcast.
Correct.
So maybe we've gotten the Three Rails bump, Ryan. We don't know. We'll have to we'll have to figure that out. But yeah, I'm loving that. So keep downloading it. Keep listening out there. This is why we do it. This is why we do it. We do it because we love it, but we also do it because we want you to listen.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I'm going to actually double check my numbers here for no credentials required for the year to date. I'm sorry, we're at 2,126 currently. So we're having one of our best years. I think actually we're having our best year yet, over 2,000 downloads for this year. And we're just hitting November. So if we can get to 2,500 downloads by the end of this year,
yeah,
I'll consider it a great year. So keep listening, keep telling friends, review, all that stuff makes their podcast known. But we're going to get out of here for this edition of the Happy Hour edition of No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by the Belly Up Sports Media Network. For Dustin Henry, I'm Ryan McCarthy. We'll be back on Tuesday night, 7:05 Eastern, to talk all about Week 9 in the NFL. So until then, enjoy the football, have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Tuesday.
Good night and good morning, everybody.
That's right.